We are now live. What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're checking in from. This is Dre All Day, checking in live from South Florida. It's kind of crispy today. It's a crispy morning in Miami. It is in the low 60s right now, which is crazy. 60s is cold for us, so I know it ain't what all y'all used to, but that's crispy for us. As you come in, leave a comment, tell me your name, where you checking in from. My name is Dre Baldwin. I'm checking in from Miami, Florida. My hometown is Philadelphia, PA. I am the owner of Work on Your Game Incorporated, former 9-year professional basketball player, author of 25 books, including, let me see what I got with me, including my book, Work on Your Game, including the Mirror Motivation, which you can get for free at mirrormotivation.com. Here's my book, Work on Your Game. We got C23 Cavs from PA. We got Croatia in the building. Bosnia is in the building. ATL's in the building. Sharp checking in from Upper Darby. This is Work on Your Game. You can get this worldwide. Don't matter where you live, you can get this book. And just in case you didn't know, it was written by me. That's me right there in the picture. What we're going to talk about here today, we're going to talk about fear. Anxiety, fear. Andy from Cali checking in. Philly is around. Shout out to Philly. Bogues. Saleh checking in from London. As I told y'all, I'm the author of 25 books. This is just one of them. Work on Your Game. I got 7,000 videos online, another 1,300 audio experiences, which y'all call podcasts, 200 some programs. I've done 4 TED Talks. I'm a keynote speaker, coach, consultant, content creator. I do a lot of things. All that being said, Deco Spalding, what's going on? Good morning. Let's talk about anxiety and fear. I heard Tony Robbins talk about this a long time ago, but my favorite person who's ever talked about it was Robert Greene, where he talked about in his book, The 50th Law, the book that he wrote with 50 Cent. 50 supplied a lot of the stories and Robert did the majority of the writing. And in that book, and also Tony Robbins has talked about this, and it makes sense to me because I've seen it in my own life, in myself and in other people. Whenever you're feeling some type of anxiety or unease, or you're feeling some type of worry or anxiety about something that could possibly be happening in the future, all you got to do is ask yourself, if you just keep asking yourself the question, why am I feeling this? Where is this coming from? Why am I feeling anxious about what's going to happen tomorrow, or worried about what might happen next week, or it's just some kind of unease about some part of your future? If you keep asking yourself why and where it's coming from, it's probably because the source is usually coming from some form of fear, because that's really where a lot of our negative energies comes from fear, because there's fear and there's love. Those are the two main energies that human beings feel. And as y'all are in there right now, those of y'all who are in the comments, I will respond to questions at the end. They got to be related to the topic, though. I ain't going to go too far off the topic. So if you got a question related to the topic and you post it, I'll get to it at the end, or you can hold it to the end when I ask for questions. Now, fear is the energy that leads to, whenever you see somebody angry, it's because of some form of fear. If you're able to drill down into it, anxiety is fear. Worry is fear. Stress is fear. At least the negative kind of stress. Distress, not eustress. That's the kind of stress that builds you up. But distress, kind of stress that breaks people down, kind of stress that gives people cancer and ulcers. That kind of stress is all based in fear. And fear is, some people call it false evidence appearing real, right? FEAR. But that's not actually true. I don't agree with that, because fear, even though it's not a tangible thing, it's not something that you can touch, feel, or taste, fear is still a real thing, because fear is a feeling that we can have on the inside. Fear is a feeling of something not quite being right. Fear is something that we have in our mind that says something's going to go wrong in the future, or something's going wrong right now, or something could possibly hurt me. But we know that in our lives right now, we don't have the pressures crowding in on us all the time the way that we did back in the caveman days, as they said. It's not like every day when you walk outside, you're putting your life on the line. Most of the places that we are in life. I mean, if you are comfortable enough to be on this right now on Instagram, watching this live stream, I don't think your life is on the line every time you go outside. But we have to have somewhere to displace that fear, because as human beings, we had that fear back then when your life really was on the line every single day. Nowadays, that is not. That wiring hasn't gone away. We still have that wiring within us because it keeps us alive. That fear keeps you from jumping off of a building just to prove a point, because you know that the possible downside of that outweighs the possible upside of proving something, that you could injure yourself or get hurt, or speeding in a car, or drunk driving, or anything that could possibly really injure you. The fear is the thing that keeps you from making those dumb decisions. And that's how we stay alive. Because the people who are too dumb to not make the dumb decisions, they die. Therefore, they can't procreate. Therefore, they can't create more people who think like them. So that's a natural selection of it. So fear does work for us in those ways. But there's a lot of times when we don't need to be fearful, but that fear, that energy needs somewhere to go. So we displace it by being anxious about things, by worrying about stuff, by being too self-conscious, by second guessing ourselves, by hesitating, by not doing what we could be doing, simply because we've conjured up in our minds some reason to be afraid of a situation in which we have no reason or no need to be afraid at all. That's what I want to talk to you about today. Understand that though fear is not false, fear is a real thing. It's something that we create in our minds, which means you can, not as easily as you created fear, you can delete fear. And I think my suggestion to you, the simplest, easiest way to get rid of fear is you got to go do something. You can't get rid of fear by sitting around thinking. You can't get rid of fear by listening to somebody, even myself, talk. You're not going to get rid of fear by reading a book, even a book as great as this one called Work on Your Game by me. You can get at workonyourgamebook.com. You can't get rid of fear by thinking, talking, contemplating, trying to hype yourself out of something. You get out of fear by taking action. I heard a wise person once say that fear is not an indication of what you should avoid. Fear is an indication of what you should do. Because when you're afraid of something, there's something in your mind that's telling you that there's some imminent danger involved in talking to this person and making this phone call and going to the store and asking this question and taking this certain action of launching this product, of publishing this video. Fear is telling you that there's some imminent danger that comes with that. So the only way to get over imminent danger that you're feeling in your mind is not to avoid it, is to go towards it and do it and find out, is something really going to happen? Why you can do that? Because these days, again, the worst thing that could usually happen to you these days that we live in is somebody get mad at you, somebody give you a dirty look, or somebody leave you a nasty comment on the internet, or somebody send you an email talking shit to you. That's pretty much the worst thing that's going to happen to you. Some form of criticism, right? It's not like anybody's going to physically hurt you for the most part. The reason why many people have fear, and they continue to have fear over and over again, is because they nurture their fear by doing the one thing that you should never do to fear, which is give it time. Fear feeds off of time, and it feeds off of a lack of action. It feeds off of listlessness, having no energy, no movement, doing nothing. If you sit around doing nothing for a long period of time, thinking about something you're afraid of, you'll be more afraid of it the next day. You'll be more afraid of it an hour later. You'll be more afraid of it 10 years later because you haven't done anything. Most people avoid the things that they're afraid of, and all that does is make them even more afraid because they're avoidance mindset. They're trying to avoid everything, and that makes you more fearful. That makes you more afraid of things because you're not doing anything to it. If I'm afraid of making a phone call and then I don't make the call because I'm afraid of it, tomorrow I'm gonna be even more afraid because I've given the fear time to think about it and marinate and get even stronger. If I'm afraid of going across the street because I think somebody's going to say something nasty to me, then I'm not going to go across the street, and tomorrow I'm going to be even more afraid because I've given it more time to grow and get bigger and stronger, that fear. So the best way to combat fear is you have to attack it. You have to go at it. You have to see what the fear is, notice that you're afraid of something, and then go directly towards it. The challenge with this is you're afraid. So what will move you to actually go towards it if you don't have a person yelling in your ear or pushing you or making you go towards it? How are you going to do it? Well, that's the discipline. That's the discipline that you have to develop within yourself. That's the mental toughness that you have to have that says, yes, I'm afraid of this. Yes, this is bothering me. Yes, this is giving me anxiety. Yes, I'm unsure and uneasy about this situation, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go towards this anyway. I'm going to handle this situation anyway because this is what I've decided that I'm going to do. You just have to have the mental toughness to push yourself to do it. And understand something. If you're going to be a conqueror, a leader in this world, in this life, in your life, you must develop the ability to move yourself to action. If you can't move yourself to action, you can't always depend on other people to do it or to read some book that's going to motivate and excite you. You got to be willing and able to do it to yourself. If you can't move yourself to action, you can't expect life to move you to action. Because if life needs to move you to action, I guarantee it's not going to be as comfortable for you as it would be if you did it for yourself. So, all that being said, that's my message for today. So I'm going to take questions. So if people have questions on this topic of fear, anxiety, mental toughness, discipline, moving yourself to action, reading this book, work on your game, go ahead and post it. I'm going to scroll up to the top and see what other comments we got. And then I'm going to let everybody get on with their Sunday, because today my hometown Philadelphia Eagles are playing and they need to win this game. It's the playoffs. This is go hard or go home. This is win or go home, the playoffs. I ain't into football like that, but I do watch the playoff games. So that's what I'm be doing. I'll be watching that while I'm working today, because I'm always working. So let's see. I'm looking in the comments here, seeing what's going on. C23 says, how do you get past the first step? All right, yeah, I just told you. Moving yourself to action. So, I mean, you anticipated what I was going to say. Deco Spalding checking in from Indonesia was good. Saleh said, you finished my book. Which book did you finish? Because whichever one you finish, I guarantee I got another one that you didn't read yet. So if you finish working on your game, get the Bulletproof Bundle, which is the Mirror Motivation, the Mental Handbook, the Super You, and the Best Practices all in one bundle. If you go to mirrormotivation.com, the Mirror Motivation book you can get free. All you got to do is pay for the other ones, get the Bulletproof Bundle. I'll send you the whole bundle. And it costs less than if you got the bundle by itself. Saleh says, I barely have anxiety for now. For now, hopefully you don't get it again. hopefully it's over. Someone says, what goes on your mind when you're about to do the scariest thing? I don't know. I don't think about that. I just do what I got to do. Balk says, go Birds. Absolutely. All right, so that's it. We ain't got too many comments, too many questions here today. You finished working your game, go to mirrormotivation.com and get Mirror of Motivation. The book is free. All you got to do is take care of the shipping. Tell me where to ship the book. We'll get you the Bulletproof Bundle. If you want it, we'll make you an offer right there on the spot. Everybody have a great Sunday working your game. Dre all day.